Good afternoon. This is Patricia Barnett, and this is Module 7 of Ethics and Professional Standards in Psychology, EDP 820, facilitated by Dr. Eric Eastman. In Module 7, the focus is on research ethics, informed consent, confidentiality, scientific integrity, and deception. The purpose of today's 7 to 9 minute video is to take a closer look at client confidentiality, informed consent, clients turning 18 while in mental health treatment, and finally, parental notification. Let's begin with confidentiality. Client confidentiality is a significant element of the informed consent process and agreement. Confidentiality establishes an atmosphere of critical trust between participant and researcher, especially in certain clinical and/or social psychology cases where there could be clients dealing with issues that could have severe or destructive outcomes and should remain private and handled with the utmost of care and confidentiality. While all of this is true and ethically necessary, this confidentiality could be breached in response to a court order or subpoena, or by anyone failing to recognize or appreciate the ethical requirements that govern confidentiality and the subsequent adverse impacts that could occur if trust is violated. Some researchers argue that outside of a clinical setting, confidentiality is viewed sometimes less saliently. However, as business professionals in our many varied roles, it's important, perhaps even critical, to be carriers of justice and advocates for beneficence and confidentiality in every interaction. Researchers argue that while confidentiality breaches could occur in cases where knowledge to harm someone is gleaned through confidential discussions, the psychologist or professional must make the hard choice whether it's appropriate to violate trust and divulge that information. Let's take a look at informed consent. The main purpose for obtaining informed consent from research participants is to ensure that they fully understand what they are getting involved in and can exercise autonomy over their own welfare, and also to ensure that they and their interests are protected. According to Lefkowitz, 2017, informed consent can be defined as the clearly summarized procedures outlining the specifics of a project or research study that, when reviewed, allows the potential participant to make an informed decision on whether they would like to participate. Now, this is talking about research, but informed consent is also important in the therapeutic process, where one should be fully aware of what to expect. While the specific content of an informed consent may vary depending on the research study or project or therapeutic process as alluded earlier, there are some important guidelines according to the APA's 2002 Ethical Code and applicable federal regulations that govern research involving human subjects. Some of these guidelines include the overall project, any potential drawbacks or adverse features, the related benefits, and the role the prospective participant would be asked to play. Guidelines also include easy access to the contact person in the event there are questions or additional information is sought, and this would be true for any project or any undertaking, including the therapeutic process. One would need to know exactly who their point of contact is, if and when questions do arise. The duration of the research study, and importantly, any aspect of the study that may affect the decision of the participant to participate, and that includes anonymity, freedom to decline or withdraw at any point without adverse consequences, It is important to pay special attention to student participants because if for any reason there must be deception during this process, meaning the withholding of some information, then this is to be made public as well. And this would be true for any population going through research or engaging in this type of scenario or project. Participants should not be hyped into participating because of exaggeration of a researcher, nor should participants be coerced into signing away their rights or releasing researchers or practitioners from negligence or liability. According to ethical standards, participants are to be afforded privacy and confidentiality and ultimately be treated with dignity and respect while shielded from any harm and guided by principles of justice and fairness. Let's take a look at clients turning 18 while in mental health treatment. The client must be competent to begin with, enough to understand what is going on, and must be capable of giving consent for their ongoing care, which also includes showing signs of being able to transition to adulthood at 18 per the law. If the client is not competent due to mental status, disease, or emergency, what then would be the motivation or benefit to abide by the legal age requirement? When it comes to comprehension, there must be comprehension moving forward of what has been explained, and the client must be in a cognitive state to be able to ask questions and make sound decisions about their welfare going forward. When it comes to parental notification, it's important to highlight beforehand for the parents that their child turning 18 can be a turning point on many fronts and in their relationship. If the child is ready for it, that is. Research suggests that the vast majority of clients are not prepared to enter into young adulthood in a successful manner. Research further points that most young adults transitioning due to the legal age requirement have never thought twice about running their own lives and what that would entail in the long run. And this automatically, for most, would create fear and uncertainty, especially for the parents as well. Most importantly, though, notification beforehand is critical to this transition if deemed appropriate. Parents, those in authority, and clinicians and the client as well are capable, and those who are capable of being transitioned should be in dialogue beforehand so there are no surprises. And even more importantly, a seamless and sound continuum of care for the client can be achieved, with the key being that they come to no harm. Thank you for your time today. I hope this was helpful. Again, this is Patricia Barnett for Research Ethics, Informed Consent, Confidentiality, Scientific Integrity, and Deception.